Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Talk Bella, the English podcast where learning feels easy, natural, and enjoyable. I'm Bella.
And I'm Ryan, and we're really happy you're here with us today. Why do native speakers say, "Can you help me? Could you repeat that? Would you like some coffee?" 3 small words, but using the wrong one can make you sound strange, and using the right one can make you sound polite, natural, and much more fluent. Honestly, these words confused me for a long time. Sometimes I didn't know if I should say can, could, or would.
And if you feel the same way, don't worry, because today we're going to explain everything slowly through real conversations and everyday English. No grammar stress, no confusing rules, just real English, real conversations. And by the end of this episode, you'll finally understand when native speakers use can, could, and would.
So, grab your coffee, relax, and let's get started.
Let's do it. Let's begin with the first word, can.
Can. Honestly, Bella, I hear this word everywhere.
That's because native speakers use it every single day. In fact, can is one of the most useful words in English.
But what does it actually mean?
Great question. Can usually talks about 3 things: ability, permission, and possibility.
Okay, let's start with ability.
Perfect. Imagine someone asks, "Can you swim?" They're asking about your ability, something you know how to do.
So I can answer, yes, I can swim.
Exactly. Or, I can drive. I can cook. I can speak English. I can play the guitar.
I wish I could play the guitar. Maybe one day.
And notice something important. After can, we always use the base verb. Can swim. Can drive. Can speak. Not can speaks. Not can speaking. Just the simple verb.
That actually makes things easier.
Very easy. Now let's talk about permission. Imagine you're at a friend's house. You ask, "Can I use your phone?"
Or, can I sit here?
Exactly. You're asking for permission. And native speakers use these expressions all the time.
I say, can I ask a question? Almost every day.
That's a perfect example. Can I come in? Can I help you? Can I borrow your pen? Very natural English.
So can isn't only about ability. It's also about permission.
That's right. And there's one more use. Possibility. For example, it can get very hot in Texas.
Meaning sometimes it gets very hot.
Exactly. Or, this movie can be scary. Life can be difficult. Learning English can be challenging.
Oh yes, learning English can be difficult sometimes.
Absolutely. But it can also be fun. And it can change your life.
I like that. Learning English can change your life.
And for many people listening right now, that's exactly why they're here. Not because they want perfect grammar, but because they want opportunities, confidence, and connection.
Can I tell you something?
Of course.
A few years ago, I couldn't speak English confidently. But now, I can have conversations. And that's progress.
And that's something to be proud of, because nobody starts fluent. Everyone starts somewhere.
Let's practice with our listeners.
Great idea. Finish these sentences with your own answer. I can.
Maybe I can cook. I can dance. I can understand English better now.
Or perhaps, I can speak English a little. And that's wonderful, because little by little becomes a lot.
Okay, can feels easy. But then why do native speakers sometimes say, could you help me? Why not just say, can you help me?
Excellent question. Because could changes everything. And that's what we're talking about next.
Now let's talk about the second word, could.
Honestly, Bella, this is where I start getting confused. Sometimes I hear, could you help me? And other times, I could swim when I was young. Same word, different meanings.
Exactly. And don't worry. By the end of this part, could will feel much simpler.
I'm ready.
Let's start with past ability. Imagine you're talking about something you were able to do in the past. For example, when I was 10, I could ride a bicycle.
Or, when I was younger, I could run very fast.
Perfect. You're talking about an ability you had.
So, can is usually present, and could is often past.
Exactly. Listen to these examples. I can speak English. Present. I could only speak a few words 2 years ago. Past.
Wow, that's actually easy to remember.
Yes, English doesn't have to be complicated. Now, let's move to another very important use. Polite requests.
Ah, this is the one I hear everywhere.
Exactly. Suppose you're at a restaurant. You don't usually say, "Give me some water." That sounds too direct. Instead, Americans often say, "Could I have some water, please?"
That sounds much friendlier.
Very friendly and very natural. Here are some examples. Could you help me? Could you repeat that? Could you open the window? Could you speak more slowly?
I think English learners need that last one a lot.
Absolutely. And native speakers are usually happy to slow down.
So, using could makes us sound more polite?
Yes. More polite, more respectful, and more natural.
Can I say, could I ask you something?
Of course. That's a beautiful sentence. Very common in American English.
Interesting. So could is softer than can.
Exactly. Now, let's look at one more use. Suggestions and possibilities. For example, we could watch a movie tonight.
Meaning it's an idea, not a plan yet.
Exactly. Or we could go out for dinner. You could try that new restaurant. You could practice English every day.
So could is also used for advice.
Yes, very often. Imagine your friend says, "I'm nervous about speaking English." You might say, "You could listen to English podcasts. You could watch movies. You could practice with friends."
I like that, because it sounds helpful, not bossy.
Exactly. And that's one reason native speakers love using could. It sounds gentle, and people appreciate that.
Let's practice with our listeners.
Great idea. Complete these sentences. When I was a child, I could...
Maybe
I could climb trees. I could play soccer all day.
Now another one. Could you...
Help me with this? Repeat that, please. Show me the way.
Beautiful. You're already using real English.
Okay, I understand can, and could makes me sound more polite. But then native speakers say things like, would you like some coffee? Or, I would love to visit New York. And honestly, that word still confuses me. Don't worry, Ryan, because would is one of the most useful words in English. And once you understand it, you'll sound much more natural.
Now let's talk about our third word, would.
Ah, yes. The mysterious one.
Don't worry, a lot of learners feel that way. But would is actually one of the most beautiful words in English because it helps us sound polite, friendly, and thoughtful.
Okay. Where do we start?
Let's start with something you hear every day. Would you like some coffee?
Oh, yes. People say that all the time.
Exactly. It's an invitation, a very polite one. Listen to these examples. Would you like some tea? Would you like to join us? Would you like another piece of cake?
Those all sound warm and friendly.
Because they are. And Americans use would like constantly. In restaurants, at work, with friends, everywhere.
Can I say, I would like a glass of water, please?
Perfect. Very polite, very natural. Much softer than simply saying, I want water.
Yes. I want water sounds a little aggressive.
Exactly. Now let's talk about preferences. For example, I would rather stay home tonight.
Meaning that's what I prefer?
Yes. Or I would love to visit Japan someday. I would love to learn another language. I would love to meet our listeners.
I like that expression. I would love to. It sounds warm.
And native speakers use it all the time. Someone asks, do you want to come with us? And you say, I'd love to. Very common, very American.
Now, here's something I hear in movies. I would do anything for my family.
Beautiful example. Because would can also talk about imaginary situations, things that are possible in your mind. For example, if I had more time, I would travel more.
If I had $1 million, I would buy a house.
Very realistic, Ryan.
I try.
Or, if I lived in New York, I would walk everywhere. If I spoke perfect English, I would feel more confident.
So, would helps us imagine.
Exactly. It lets us talk about dreams, wishes, and possibilities.
Can I say, I would love to speak English naturally?
Absolutely. And I know many listeners feel the same way.
Definitely, because speaking naturally is everyone's dream.
And remember, fluency doesn't happen overnight. Little by little. Conversation by conversation. Word by word.
I like that. Word by word.
Exactly. Now, let's practice together. Finish these sentences. I would love to...
Maybe I would love to travel. I would love to become fluent. I would love to visit America.
Beautiful. Now, another one. If I had more free time, I would...
Read more books. Exercise every day. Practice English more often.
Wonderful. And notice something. Would isn't scary. It's emotional. It's polite. It's human.
Okay, I think I'm starting to understand. Can is about ability. Could is softer and more polite. And would talks about preferences and imagination. But Bella, how do native speakers know which one to choose?
Great question, because that's exactly what we're doing next. We're going to compare all three together, and suddenly everything will become much clearer.
Now let's bring everything together. Can, could, and would. Because understanding the differences between these three words is where many learners finally say, oh, now I get it.
That's exactly what I want to say.
Let's start with something simple. Imagine your friend asks, can you help me?
That's a normal question. They're asking if I have the ability.
Exactly. Now listen to this. Could you help me?
That sounds softer, more polite.
Very good. Same meaning, different feeling. Native speakers often prefer could because it sounds friendlier.
And what about would?
Good question. Now imagine someone says, would you help me if I needed you?
Oh, that feels different. It's more about willingness.
Exactly. Look at these three sentences. Can you help me? Could you help me? Would you help me?
Same topic, but different feelings.
Yes. Can equals ability. Could equals polite request. Would equals willingness or imagination.
Wow, that's actually very clear.
Let's try another example. I can swim.
Present ability. I know how to swim.
When I was 10, I could swim very well.
Past ability.
Something I was able to do.
If I lived near the ocean, I would swim every day.
Imaginary situation.
Perfect. Now, let's talk about restaurants, because these expressions are everywhere. A waiter might say, "What would you like to drink?"
Not, what do you want?
Exactly. Because would like sounds much more polite. And then you answer, "I would like some coffee, please."
Very natural.
Suppose you don't hear the waiter. You might say, "Could you repeat that, please?"
And if your friend asks, can you drive? You answer, yes, I can.
Beautiful. 3 words, 3 jobs.
You know something? I think learners sometimes panic because they try to remember rules.
Exactly. But native speakers don't think about grammar names. They think about meaning and feelings.
Can, ability, could, politeness, would, preference, and imagination.
Wonderful. And honestly, if you remember only those 3 ideas, you'll already sound much more natural.
Let's practice with our listeners.
Great idea. Complete these sentences. I can.
Understand English better now. Cook pasta. Drive.
When I was younger, I could.
Run faster. Stay awake all night.
Those days are gone, Ryan.
Sadly, yes.
And finally, if I had more free time, I would.
Travel more. Read more books. Practice English every day.
Beautiful. And listeners, try these sentences yourself, because speaking out loud is how confidence grows.
Okay, Bella, I understand the meanings now, but what mistakes do English learners usually make with can, could, and would? Because honestly, I've probably made all of them.
Don't worry, Ryan. We've all made them. And that's exactly what we're talking about next.
Now let's talk about mistakes. Because mistakes are normal. In fact, mistakes mean you're trying.
Good, because I've made plenty of them.
And so have I. Let's start with a very common one. Some learners say, "I can to speak English."
Oh, yes. I've heard that before.
And the correct sentence is, "I can speak English." No to. After can, we use the simple verb. Can speak, can drive, can understand.
So not can to speak, can to drive, can to swim?
Exactly. Simple verb. Always. Now, here's another mistake. People sometimes say, "I could to help you."
And that's wrong too?
Yes. Very common mistake. The correct sentence is, "I could help you." Again, no to. Could help. Could come. Could see.
Interesting. So can and could follow the same pattern.
Exactly.
Now, let's talk about would. Many learners say, "I would like go to America."
Something feels missing there.
Good ear. The natural sentence is, "I would like to go to America," because would like needs to. Would like to learn. Would like to travel. Would like to visit.
Ah, so would like is different. It needs to.
Exactly. Now, here's another common mistake. Learners sometimes use could when they mean can. For example, "I could swim."
That sounds okay, doesn't it?
It depends. If you're talking about today, you should say, "I can swim," because could often talks about the past or a possibility.
So if I'm talking about my present ability, I say I can swim.
Perfect. And if you're talking about childhood, you might say, "When I was young, I could swim really well."
Got it.
Present, can. Past, could.
Exactly. Now, here's one that even advanced learners sometimes confuse. Someone says, "Would you like some coffee?" And the learner answers, "Yes, I would."
Is that wrong?
Not wrong,
But native speakers usually say, yes, please, or yes, I'd love some, or simply, sure, thank you.
That sounds much more natural.
Exactly. Because real English is not always about perfect grammar. It's about sounding natural.
Can I ask something?
Of course.
What if I make mistakes while speaking?
Then you're learning. That's what happens. Nobody becomes fluent without mistakes. Nobody. Not you, not me, not anyone.
Sometimes I stop speaking because I'm afraid of saying something wrong.
And that's something many listeners feel. But remember this, a wrong sentence can be corrected. Silence cannot.
Wow, that's powerful.
So don't wait for perfect English. Perfect English doesn't exist. Speak with imperfect English. And little by little, your English becomes stronger.
I like that. Progress over perfection.
Always.
Okay, Bella. I think I finally understand can, could, and would. But before we finish, can we put all three words together in real conversations?
Absolutely. Because that's where everything comes alive. And that's exactly what we're doing next.
Now it's time for the fun part. Let's bring everything together. Can, could, and would in real conversations, because that's how native speakers actually use them.
Yes. No grammar charts, no tests, just life.
Exactly. Imagine you're at a coffee shop. The barista asks, "What would you like to drink?"
And I say, I'd like a cappuccino, please.
Perfect. Then you don't hear the next question. So you politely ask, "Could you repeat that, please?"
Very useful. I think English learners need that sentence every day.
Absolutely. Then your friend asks, "Can you drive?" And you answer, "Yes, I can." See? 3 words, 1 conversation.
Wow, that feels very natural.
Now imagine you're talking about dreams. You say, "I can understand English better than before."
When I was younger, I could only speak a few words.
And one day, I would love to speak English fluently.
That's actually my dream.
And probably the dream of many listeners, too. Now let's imagine another situation. You're visiting a new city. You ask someone, "Could you tell me where the station is?"
And maybe they reply,
"Sure,
you can walk straight ahead.
Then they add, "If I were you, I would take the train."
Everything sounds so natural when it's inside a conversation.
Exactly, because language is communication, not memorization. Now let's do one final practice together. Listeners, complete these sentences.
First, maybe I can understand more English now.
Second, when I was younger, I could.
Play soccer all day.
Absolutely. And finally, I would love to.
Travel around the world. Become fluent in English. Speak confidently with native speakers.
Beautiful. And remember, fluency isn't about speaking perfectly. It's about expressing yourself, little by little, day by day, conversation by conversation.
So let's do one final review.
Can talks about ability.
Could talks about past ability and polite requests.
And would helps us talk about preferences, dreams, and imaginary situations.
3 small words, but they appear everywhere in English.
And now, they don't have to feel scary anymore.
Before we go, we have a little challenge for you.
Write 1 sentence in the comments using can, 1 sentence using could, and 1 sentence using would.
Don't worry about perfection. Just try. Because every sentence you write makes your English stronger.
And if this episode helped you, please like this video and subscribe to Talk Bella. We upload new English lessons every day.
Thank you for learning with us today.
Take care of yourself, keep practicing, keep listening, and remember,
You're not bad at English.
you're learning. And learning is beautiful.
See you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.